everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should because I talk about geeky things, but sometimes I sit on the couch and tell you guys stories about the reasons why I drink. And this one I think is fun. I thought about this one before Cosmo's health crisis. If you guys remember, this is gonna come out a long time after this happened, but back at the end of April, Cosmo had a health crisis. Cosmo actually almost died, and if you guys want an update on that, I did talk about that in the last live stream I did for the mid-season finale of Dino Fury. I talked about it right at the beginning, so if you have no interest in Dino Fury, that's why I did it right at the beginning of that one. You guys can just watch that if you want. Otherwise, I did talk about it on my vlogging channel. Again, the first vlog after it all took place. But yeah, so he's fine, which I'm thrilled about. I hope he's still fine when this video goes live. But I thought it would be a great idea, since obviously I have a new puppy. I don't yet. He's coming home in 2 weeks, but you guys know I have a puppy at this point. I've kept it a huge secret for a year. But now that it's out there, I can talk about it on this channel, which is wild to me. But anyway, I thought it would be really fun to sit down and talk about Cosmo's puppyhood, because Cosmo, you were a rough puppy, Bubba. He was a rough puppy. As a matter of fact, my sister got the book Marley and Me because even though he's not a lab, he's a retriever. They're the same type of dog. Labradors are retrievers. They're just a different kind of retriever. Goldens are retrievers, just a different kind of retriever. There's a bunch of, even poodles are technically a retriever. Anyway, she got me that book because I always said how Cosmo was the worst puppy ever. And so she knew the movie was coming out, and so she got me the book for Christmas one year, and I just busted through it. Like, I don't usually read for fun, because reading for me is a lot of work because I'm dyslexic, and I was diagnosed a lot later than you should be to be able to actually kind of get over it a little bit better. So I still suffer with dyslexic issues, and it's just something that I'm gonna have to live with. Anyway, I busted through that book because I related to it so much. Now mind you, I love my dog and I would never trade his puppyhood for anything. I'm so grateful that he's the best dog ever. I mean, I know you probably think you have the best dog ever, but you're not wrong. You're right, you do. Because every dog is the best dog ever, every single one. And that's just an honest to God fact of life. I do. I love my dog. He's so smart. He's so sweet. He's so wonderful. Everything about my dog is fantastic. However, that does not change the fact that his puppyhood was very difficult. And a good portion of that was my fault. I was very young. I was 21 when I got him. I was almost 22 when I got him, and I was still going to school. I was still, obviously working. And so I was trying, I'm still working at 34. Anyway, not the point. It was really hard to have a puppy. Plus, there were a lot of things that I did wrong when it came to raising a puppy. Things I have learned now with Apollo. Things that are going to go much better, I hope. I'm sure it's still going to be hard. Apollo is going to be a very difficult puppy too, I am sure. But Cosmo was destructive. Cosmo was hilarious looking back. Yes, I'm talking about you. Anyway. And there were just things about that, but again, a lot of it was my fault. So let's talk about some of the things that Cosmo did when he was a puppy, and the things that make me want to drink, because yikes. Initially, I did want to crate train Cosmo. However, I worried about the wire crate. I have a wire crate that I'm gesturing towards. You guys have seen it now, for Apollo. And I was worried about those crates because we weren't sure what my back could handle. If you guys don't know, I have a lifelong injury here in my back. I tore a muscle right behind my shoulder blade when I was 9. And so I have a really tough time with my right arm. I don't have a lot of reach. I can't really lift well. I mean, I'm getting better now that I'm doing strength training again. It's getting better again, and my reach is getting better again. When I was at my thinnest, I hate saying that because anyway, no diet culture on this channel, but I used to be thinner, I used to weigh less, I used to be more fit. And back when I was, my my back problems were very limited. And this was around the time that I was very, very fit. But we still worried about me having to move the crate and me re-injuring my back, because that happened every once in a while. Like when I moved into the apartment that I lived in with Cosmo, I actually did re-injure my back and had to go on rest again, had to go on bed rest again for a little while. And so re-injuring my back was, and to this day, is still a consideration. Every time I do anything active, I have to be aware of how my back is feeling so I don't re-injure it. The last time I re-injured it was when I almost fell down the stairs and caught myself. I caught myself with my right arm, re-injured my shoulder blade. So it's great, it's fun. I enjoy it. Anyway, we were concerned about the size that I was gonna need for a crate and how heavy it was gonna be. And it is heavy. It's a lot bigger than Ace's crate. But after having to move Ace's crate a lot, I became less scared of crates. But Ace came when Cosmo was like 7, so well after I got rid of any kind of crate. So I did start crate training him, but I got this like nylon like travel crate, so you could like fold it up flat and put it in your car and travel with it. And that's what we used for his crate. And it worked when he was very little. I've already talked about with his birthday video, I already talked about our first couple of nights there because that's what I wanted to talk about on his birthday, obviously. But let's talk about the one night that I woke up to what I thought was a burglar in my apartment. It wasn't, it was the dog. Cosmo had grown quite a bit at this point. And he was in his little nylon crate. He hated that damn crate, hated it. Hated being in it, hated that crate. Until one night, I woke up to thump, 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 and I was like, what is happening? And I looked at my cat. Corvette was like freaking out. She was scared to death, eyes wide open. So I do what any smart 22-year-old will do. And I went to investigate. Looking back, I should have called the police just to be safe, but luckily it was just my dog. He had managed to walk his crate by jumping up on the side and thumping it down to the floor while going over to the side that's up, thumping it down to the floor. Out of the bedroom. Now, mind you, if you knew anything about this apartment, my bedroom, getting to the kitchen from my bedroom, while simple if you're walking, it would not be simple in this crate. Somehow, Cosmo did it. Got from the bedroom to the kitchen, and I just stood there watching it. Like, I was doing some YouTube at the time, but it wasn't such a big part of my life that I went and grabbed my camera to take a video of it like I did with the squirrel that was in my shower one time. Story, or if you want to see that vlog, I'll put it above here. You know, it wasn't like a normal thing for somebody just to grab their camera and be like, look what's happening in my life right now. And so I didn't. And I wish I would have, because that was the weirdest dang thing I think this dog has ever done in his entire life. He actually broke it at that point. It never stood up quite right ever again. I eventually threw it away. But that's when I started locking him in the bathroom at night, which is not crate training. So to properly crate train, which I'm probably going to talk about on a future video for dog tips, but to properly crate train, the dog should be able to stand up and turn around, and that's pretty much it. And you give the dog more and more room as the dog grows and grows and grows until the dog not only is potty trained but can hold it and has learned how to hold it, because the whole point is the dog doesn't want to sit in his own feces, doesn't want to sit in his own urine. So they're going to hold it for as long as humanly possible if there is no space for them just to kind of go off and do it and then go and curl up on the other side. So that's the proper way to crate train. You can't do that in a bathroom. Like I said, I did a lot of things wrong. Now, mind you, my mentality behind putting him in the bathroom made sense. The bathroom in that apartment was tiled. Not that my bathroom right now isn't tiled, it is, but the bathroom in that apartment was tiled. So I figured out of all of the different flooring in that apartment, I had carpet in most of the apartment, I had linoleum in the kitchen, and I had tile in the bathroom. And I was like, you know, out of all the different cleaning space, out of all the different like things, it's probably going to be the easiest and safest to clean tile. So if he goes in the bathroom, it's not such a big deal because that's a lot easier to clean than linoleum, which could, you know, bubble, could get ruined from moisture that's sitting there for a few hours. And of course, carpet isn't going to be great either. So into the bathroom he went at night. Into the bathroom he went while I was gone. And that was probably my biggest mistake in raising Cosmo, because again, he had no qualms about going and just pooping wherever he wanted, peeing wherever he wanted. And it took a lot longer to potty train Cosmo than it probably should have. I'm expecting Apollo to be potty trained a lot faster. One, he's gonna learn from Cosmo. And two, I'm going to properly crate train him, because I know how to do that better now. I am not 21 anymore. I am 34, almost 35. So I know how to do it a lot better. Anyway, so that's where a lot of my trauma with Cosmo comes from, is that damp bathroom. So as I said, Cosmo was a destructive puppy. He didn't like being separated from me. He still doesn't like being separated from me. If I go upstairs for any length of time without him, he will bark and bark and bark and bark and bark and bark until I let him come upstairs. He doesn't like being separated from me. He'll watch me when I go outside, even if I'm just going to go grab something. He'll watch me at the door and like just be very upset that I'm not with him, that there's a separation between the two of us. He and I are very, very connected on a very spiritual and very physical level. We're just very, very connected. And Nova and I are too, but with Cosmo, obviously I've had Cosmo for 13 years almost, and so it's definitely a different level. Not that I love him more and not that I feel more connected to him. I feel connected to both of them in the same way, or the same level, but just not in the same way. Anyway, so the point being, and I digress, he never liked being separated from me. So in all of the places that he could view me, so not view me, but like know where I was. So if I was sleeping, he knew I was in the room right next to him. If I was in the living room or the kitchen, he knew what wall was separating the two of us. He chewed on those walls. He also chewed behind the toilet, not sure why, but he chewed on those walls constantly. And that was awful. I hated that. To the point that I didn't get a security deposit back because he chewed a good portion of the drywall. So here are pictures of that, because I took pictures of that. He also destroyed the vanity. He also chewed on that, so I had to pay for that too. And of course, they had to use like one big piece versus like little pieces that they could just, you know, replace. No, it was one big piece, so they had to replace all of it. So I had to replace the entire vanity. I had to fix the walls. And there were a lot of other problems with that apartment. That a whole apartment, both of my apartments in St. Cloud, really could be another reason why I drink. So maybe at some point, if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments below, because I have horror stories. This is why I will never actually rent. I mean, I rent from my parents right now, but my parents are not landlords. They are my landlords, but they're not like landlords. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's why I'm never gonna rent ever again. When I move from this when I move out of this mother-in-law suite, I will be buying a place, because I will never rent again unless I'm the landlord and I rent out. Anyway, but he destroyed that bathroom and destroyed a lot of other things. Actually, one of the reasons why one of my habits now is to not put toilet paper roll on the actual roll is because he loved tearing those apart. So I've always had to put it up on top of the sink or on top of the toilet where he couldn't reach it when he was a puppy. So that was fun. So that's still kind of a habit that sticks with me, is I tend to just put it on the sink just out of habit. Even 13 years later, almost 13 years later, I still have that same habit. It's really weird. He also ripped apart every single bed he ever got and every single toy he ever got. Basically, if there was cotton in a toy, he felt like, or if there was cotton in an object, he felt like the cotton shouldn't be in there. So I would buy him beds and beds and beds and beds and beds and beds because I felt bad that he was sleeping on tile his entire puppyhood. So I'd buy him a bed, he'd rip it up. I'd buy him another bed, he'd rip it up. I'd buy him another bed and then realize the definition of insanity. So doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. But yeah, and so I, for a long, long time, because I'm a clean freak, okay, I don't like waking up to a toy massacre. So I don't like waking up to a bunch of just cotton all over the floor. And he still rips cotton out of toys to this day. He still enjoys doing that. That's one of his favorite little pastimes. He does it a lot less as he's gotten older, but he still does it. Still one of his favorite little pastimes. Anyway, so I actually started getting him stuffingless toys. So flat toys that would have like a squeaker in the head. I would start getting him those because I just didn't want to wake up to that. I stopped giving him beds. He's never ripped anything like couch wise or anything like that. It's always ever been his stuff. Like if it's his, he gets to rip it up. If it's mine, and I mean, aside from the toilet paper and one other thing, which I'll get to in a second, he left it alone. Like he never destroyed my couch or anything like that. He has only ever destroyed the bathroom and his stuff. That's it. And one other thing, but we're gonna get to that. So it's very interesting, and he still to this day has a huge respect for anything that's mine. So if I go mama's toy or mama's food or mama's treat, things like that, he'll back off. He'll be like, oh, that's not for me then. And he'll walk away and he won't even beg for it. He won't touch it. Like I can trust food around him. Like I can put food on this table that's right here in front of me and I can go to the bathroom and come back out and he won't have touched it. Because I'll go, mama food, and I'll walk away and he'll be like, oh, that's mama food. I don't get to eat that. Like he's very respectful of things that are mine. And the reason for that is when I first started letting him have the run of the apartment while I was gone from the apartment, like I'd go to work or I'd go to school or whatever, he would get very upset because again, he hates being away from me. He doesn't like when I'm away. And so, and it's not really even separation anxiety. I mean, it is, but it's because it doesn't seem to bother him. He gets depressed now when I'm away. He doesn't get destructive. But when he was a puppy, he got very destructive. But it was really funny because he would just grab like one piece of paper that he could reach. That's it. One piece of paper that he could reach. And he'd go to the sliding glass door, because that's the way I would come in and out of the apartment when it was warm. I would park in the garage when it was wintertime. So I'd go out in the hallway during the wintertime. But during the summertime, fall time, springtime, whatever, I would park out in the parking lot and right in front of my apartment. And so I'd go through the sliding glass doors on my patio, and he would just sit by that door and he'd rip up that piece of paper and he would just sit there and wait for me. And then I'd get home and I'd open up the door and I'd look at him and he'd look at the thing and look at me and look at the thing and then look at me, and like as if he was saying, look how destructive I am. This is what you made me do. And it was hilarious until the one day he ripped up a card that I loved and wanted to keep from a friend, and I was very upset about that, and he has since then had never done it ever since then. So there's that. And then there was the morning that I woke up to my cat freaking out because he ripped apart her Charmander toy. So when I was a kid, I really liked Power Rangers, but also Pokemon. When I was a preteen teenager, I really liked Pokemon, and I still do. But I used to have like this just Pokemon plushie collection, ridiculous collection. And I had these two Charmander toys, these two Charmander plushies, one that was like this big and one that was a little bit bigger. It was about this big. And I still have them. They became Corvette's toys, however. And she carried them around everywhere. She loved them. They were her favorite toys. And then he destroyed the big one. He ripped it up, ripped out all the stuffing, and she was not having it. I was so angry with him, and again, he never touched anything that was ever Corvette's again. So I'd say, this is Kitty's. This is Kitty's toy. Kitty's toy. And still to this day, he still understands it with Nova. Kitty's toy. This is Kitty. This is Kitty stuff. Kitty food. And he stays away from it because that's just how he is, except for the kitty cookies. He really likes kitty cookies, so that's why Nova still has a covered litter box at this point. One more story, just one. And this one was from when I was away for 12 hours and Cosmo had the runs. I came home to him covered in his runs. and the bathroom. It was 11 o'clock at night. I'd been gone for 12 hours. I was so tired, so exhausted. And guess what I had to do? Couldn't go to bed. I had to clean up my dog, had to clean up my bathroom. It was disgusting. So there you have it. Some of my favorite stories about the reasons why I drink because of Cosmo in his puppyhood. He was a very difficult puppy, but at the end of the day, he was a fantastic learning experience and my best friend and my rock and the reason I am alive to this day. So I have nothing to really complain about. He was amazing, and I am looking forward to all of the terrible things I'm gonna go through with Apollo. So cheers. One of my last weekends, puppy free. Puppy's coming, guys. Of course, you already know that. But if you guys wanna see the vlog in which I bring Apollo home, click here. If you guys wanna see my last story time, click here. Click here to subscribe to this channel, here to my vlogging channel. Lots of puppy content obviously coming to my vlogging channel. So check it out there, and I will see you guys all next time. Bell for notifications on both of those channels, and subscribe, comment, and share, and like, and all the things. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye!